welcome back. Today we are starting with the power of Secretary of States of India. Yesterday, we ended at these points that the Royal Proclamation was declared. So basically, we will also discuss the Royal Proclamations in details. But for now, let's see what was the power of the Secretary of State of India. So basically, I'm covering everything in detail so that I will share this PDF on Telegram, so you can take a read read once and maybe assure of the all points, important points, and it will also be helpful to you in writing long and detailed essays in UPSC. So let's start. The supreme authority over Indian administration was the secretary, and the Secretary of States of India was the final decision maker on all matters related to governance of India. He replaced the board of control and the court of directors of the East India Company. Basically, we have seen that Viceroy was replaced, or basically he replaced the position of Governor General of India in East India Company, and here we can see that Secretary replaced the position of final decision, board of control and the court of director. So he had the authority to issue order and policies that had to be followed by the Viceroy of India and other officials. Also, his direct accountability was to the British Parliament. So the Secretary of State was a cabinet of minister in the British government. He had to answer to the British Parliament for all Indian affairs, ensuring the British interests were made. And Indian administration was now under direct Parliament control, making India a formal colony. The word is very important: formal colony of Britain. So, number third is control over Indian finances and economy. So, basically, the Secretary of State had control over Indian finances and economy. He controlled Indian budgets, taxations, and expenditures. Indian revenue were used for military expenses, infrastructure, and governance under his approval. Means his approval was necessary, and the Secretary could approve or reject financial policies proposed by the Viceroy and its council. As I have said earlier, that the Secretary would have to follow Viceroy and his council's decisions, but he may deny those decisions in important cases. And number four is the military and defense authority. Power secretary, he had secretary had the power, or secretary controlled Indian army and defenses policy. He could recruit, deploy, and dismiss military officials, and even including British officials sanctioned in stationed in India. He ensured that British troops always outnumbered Indian soldiers after the 1857 revolts to prevent future uprisings. We have seen this, and also he secretary had the power over civil and political appointments. The Secretary of States had the authority to appoint, transfer, or dismiss high-ranking officials, including Viceroy of India, Governor of provinces, and senior bureaucrats, judges, and military officials. So basically, here the you can see how powerful was the Secretary of States of India, that he can even dismiss the ranking Viceroy of Indians and senior bureaucrats, judges, and military officials. He could also approve or reject law and regulation formatted by the Viceroy's government in India. Also, advisory council. So basically, he was assisted by a Council of India, 15 members, mostly former East India Company officials were there, and the council provided advices. But here the point is that Secretary of States could override their recommendations, as I have said you earlier, in urgent matters. Also, this ensured that decisions were made quickly and aligned with the aligned with British interest. So now let's see the significance of the Government of India Act 1858, which is basically the importance of the Government of India Act 1858. and we have covered various importance of these acts, so the points are going to be repeated. So I have just shown the important points only, highlighted the points only, and some points are not detailed. So you, for the more details, you can see in the previous points that was detailed. So what was the significance of Government of India Act? End of the East India Company rule, establishment of centralized administration, means British Crown administration, central administration, and change in British policy towards India. That is for the first time, British focus for the Indian development, through the Queen's proclamation, and a strengthening of the British Army in India. Beginning of direct parliamentary oversight, means direct control of the parliament over Indian, and paving the way for Indian nationalism. So we are going to see how this act of 1858 paved the way for Indian nationalism. We are also in the previous videos also I have talked that the act played very important role in the Indian nationalism. So let's see how it played. While Act aimed to stabilize British rule, it also exposed Indians to Western political ideas. So main thing was that it exposed Indian to the Western political ideas, and based on those ideas, the Indians also started demanding their rights, demanding their basically needs to be fulfilled by the British ground. So they started to demand for their own governance. So the exclusion of Indian from governance created resentments and leading to rise of Indian nationalism. Thus, they have found that in basically in constitutions, so in Western political ideas, we study that there was there was just like a statement there that the rules should be made by the people living there on the behalf of the people living there. So living state rules should be made by the people from the states only, and he should take the accountability of all those peoples. So seeing that and finding that Indians were not getting Indians were getting exclusion, they were exclusion from the governance. So this led to the rise of Indian nationalism, and eventually movement for self-governance and independence gained momentum. Oh, so now let's see Queen Proclamation of November 1, 1858, which was spoken out in Allahabad Darbar on November 1, 1858. So we are going to see various important points. So, under the provision made in Act of 1858, the assumption of the government of India by the Crown was to take place through Queen's proclamation, which was to be read out by Lord Canning. Who was Lord Canning? The first Viceroy of India, who replaced the position of Governor General of India in the East India Company, of the East India Company. So to assemble princes and people at a Darbar held at the Allahabad in the November 1, 1858. So basically, the Lord Canning was going to read out those proclamations, Queen proclamations, in the Darbar where princes and peoples who assembled there. So, what was the declaration of the proclamation? Number one, we have resolved to take upon ourselves the government of the territories in India, hitherto means abtak, administered in trust by the Honorable East India Company. Means it's saying that अब तक का जो भी राज्य जो ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ने बताया है कि मेरे अंदर है, वो ब्रिटिश क्राउन अब अपने अंडर लेती है. नाउ वी नियर बाय कॉल अपॉन वी हेयर बाय सॉरी इट्स एच वी हेयर बाय कॉल अपॉन ऑल आवर सब्जेक्ट्स विद इन द सेड टेरिटरीज. Said territories, the territories where British rule is in the East India Company used to rules, and the territory which has been transferred to the British Crown now. So we hereby call upon all our subjects within this said territories to be faithful and to bear the true allegiance to us, our heirs and successors. Means see, it was asked that our successors would get respects, and the queen asked for cooperations from all the subjects who were residing on that territory. Also, we appoint Lord Canning to be our first viceroy and Governor General in and over our said territories. Also, by the word over our said territories is used because in later we are going to see that you will see that Queen proclaimed that she will no further expand their territories, the territory. So basically, that's why the word our said territories means the territory which already have been captured by the Britishers, sorry, East India Company, will be basically there. The rule of Lord Canning will be applied only. So we confirm all civil and military officers employed by the East India Company, all the military and civil officers which were employed till then before the 1858, number 1 at November 1, 1858, those were all accepted to the East India, sorry, British crown, and we gladly accept all treaties and engagement which the native princes of India have made with East India Company and will scrupulously maintain them. Means Queen proclaimed that all the that's basically समझ जो प्रिंसेस के और ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी के बीच में हो रखा था, अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो हो रखा था, शी विल मेंटेन दोज अंडरस्टैंडिंग्स एंड rule on the basis of those. Also, we desired no extension of our present territories possession. As I have said here that the word our said territories is used because the queen further do not wanted the extension of present territories, and while we will permit no aggression upon our dominion or our rights to be attempted with impunity, we shall sanction no encroachment on those of others. Means she stated that हम भी आपको परेशान नहीं करेंगे, हम आपके टेरिटरी पे कब्जा नहीं करेंगे, और बदले में हम भी अपने टेरिटरी पे कब्जा नहीं होने देंगे. सो डू नॉट वॉच अस विथ बैड आइज. Thus, the policies of annexation and expansion was denounced. Annexation कब्जा करना and expansion फैलाना. So the policies was denounced. Basically, this the policy of annexation and expansion was the main policy which were adopted by the East India Company officials. So Queen denied those policies, denounced these policies. Also, so we shall respect the right, dignity, and honor of native princes and our as our own. She stated that we are going to respect the all princes, native princes, as if they are our own princes. Means हम जैसे हम अपने हेयर्स को जिस तरह रिस्पेक्ट देते हैं वैसे हम अपने वहाँ के नेटिव प्रिंसेस को, इंडिया मीन्स इंडिया के नेटिव प्रिंसेस को रिस्पेक्ट देंगे. We disclaim alike the right and desire to impose our religious convictions on any of our subjects. He says that further there will be no imposition of Western religious on those of Indians, and we will not interfere with the religious belief or worship of any of our subjects. Also, she said that all shall alike enjoy the equal and impartial protection of the law. Number 11 is that so far as may be, our subjects of whatever race or creed be freely and impartially admitted to the officers in our services. Means basically, she allowed the merit based basically acceptance of the officers or the army in their groups, so that the trust can be rebuilt between the Indians and the Britishers. And but we will later see that though these were proclaimed about the equal protection, religious protections, but still there was a forcing of Western education system which impacted Indian traditions. So Basically, for now, let's see what was the proclamation. Also, we will see what was after reading these proclamations. We will see what was basically followed upon and what was not. So, in framing and administrating the law, due regards will be paid to ancient rights, uses, and customs of India. She said that during the framing of new rules, creation of new rules, we will pay watch. We will take a watch to the ancient rights, uses, and custom of India. As we have seen in the slash and burn agriculture, farmers were forcibly settled. So basically, for now, they are saying that will not even force them to do anything else, do anything on their for their interest. And the queen expressed her regret over the act of mutiny, and she pardoned the officers of those who had taken part in the rising. So basically, to calm the tensions between the Indians and Britishers. So basically, queen mm, Queen pardoned the those who had taken part in the rising of revolts of 1857, but clemency was granted to all offenders except those who were convicted of having directly taken part in the murder of the British subject. Basically, those who were main killers of the Britishers were not pardoned. Basically, a statement is trying to say that जिन्होंने भाग लिया था 1857 के क्रांति में, बट उन्होंने अपने हाथों से या बेसिकली वो जस्ट भाग ही लिए थे, उन्होंने किलिंग में या आर्मी में ज्वाइन नहीं किया था, जो उन लोगों को क्षमा मिल गई है। एंड बट जो डायरेक्ट किलिंग में इन्वॉल्व थे उन्हें हम वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू लीव देम और pardon them. In the end, Queen declared that it was her earnest desire to stimulate peace industry, to promote works of the public utility and improvement and public utility and improvement, and to administer the government for the benefit of all our subjects residing therein. So basically, the end proclamation of the queen was that she wanted welfare of all, both the subjects, our British subjects also and our Indian subject also, who is residing in Indian territory, and we just want to promote our industries which very peacefully, and see the improvements and bring the positive changes. So this was all the queen proclamations. So that's all. In next video we will talk about significance of queen, what was the importance of queen proclamations, and further we will proceed. So for now, that's all. Thank you.